Hello, I'm Richard Rogers, and I want to welcome you to Unity of Prescott. You know, each week we desire to serve your spiritual needs, to give you a little spiritual food to make a difference in your life. And so this week, I think you're going to really enjoy today's message. We're going to talk about one of Unity's fundamental beliefs and understandings and practices. So I'm glad you're with us today. Also, I want to share a couple announcements with you. Today is my first anniversary with your ministry. For the first 6 months, I was your run minister as your interim minister. And for the last 6 months, I've been your permanent minister. And I got to tell you, I love being your minister. So thank you very much for having the confidence in me to select me. And I look forward to many, many years together. Also want to share that we had a fabulous church picnic last week. If you missed it, really was. We had 83 people there for our church picnic. It went off just without a hitch. It was a great event. Today we're doing our Harvest Fest, and this is sponsored by our green team. At 11 o'clock today, there's going to be a link in the newsletter. At 11 o'clock today, they're going to be raffling off some gift baskets as a fundraiser for our green team. And then at 1 o'clock today, we are having Dr. Stephen Summers. He's a professor at NAU. He speaks on ecology, on global warming, and he's going to be doing a presentation this afternoon at 1 o'clock online through Zoom, so the link will be in the newsletter, about the impact of spirituality and global warming, and relating the responsibility that we in spiritual communities have of really providing and protecting for nature and really being an advocate for nature. So that'll be at 1 o'clock today. And then next week, on the 11th, we have our annual meeting, and it's also going to be through Zoom. If you're a member, you should have received an email this week about all the information about our annual meeting. So we hope you join us on the 11th at 11 o'clock. And then on the 18th, the big news is we are reopening on October 18th, 2 services, 9 and 11. It'll be limited seating, 38 people. You're going to need to call the church if you want to join us and make a reservation. 2 services, come and be a part of it. We're going to have social distancing. Everybody's going to have to wear a mask when you come in the sanctuary. So, but if you want to be here, we want you here. So we'll still be doing the video service each week that will be put out on Sunday morning, and we'll then have a live service at 9 and 11. So things are changing as we're moving into this fall season. So I'm so glad you're a part of this ministry. I want you to take a deep breath. Chris is here. He's going to be playing the meditation music for me. So take a deep breath as we move into this time of meditation. And I want you to feel the presence of God. As we move into this fall season, as we feel the activity of nature beginning to change, and the days are shorter and the temperatures are cooler, I want you to feel the presence of God that is also at work in your life. The things are changing. Things may be changing in your life. And sometimes we want to go back to the old ways. And what I want to suggest for today, in this time of prayer and meditation, is that you trust the change. Trust the activity of God that is at work in your life right now. That through the seasons we see how Spirit is always at work through every change. That summer leads to fall, fall to winter, then to spring, and back to summer. And through all the changes, through all the activity, God is right there. And I know in so many of our lives right now, things are changing. And we can trust the change. We can trust the divine activity of God in and through every change in our life. That God is right there with us, moving through us, guiding us and directing us. God is with me. And whatever the change may be, whatever the transformation that is going on in my life, I can trust God right there. I can trust God. Take another deep breath. And see if there's any place in your body where you've been holding anxiety, where you've been holding fear. And I want you to take a deep breath and just let it go. I trust God in all the changes of my life and all the changes in the world. I trust God that there is only one presence and one power at work in my life and in the universe, God the good. Today I let go of all my burdens. I let go of all my fears, all my anxieties, all my worries, and I trust God. I trust that there's only one presence and one power. That with all the transformation in the world right now, God is right here. All of life trusts God. And as we align our mind, our heart, our soul, we trust the divine activity that's at work this day. I trust God right here. In the name and through the power of the living Christ, we give thanks. And so it is. Amen.
Well, thank you very much for today's insights and inspirations. With so much that's beyond our control right now, the one thing that we can get a grip on is our happiness, you know? It begins within. And this song, it's called the Happy Song. I've been to Paris in the Eiffel Tower, search for beauty in every flower, looking for love on the streets of Rome, with nothing but my backpack on. Walking so many streets, it was cool for a while, helped me learn how to smile. Now I'm happy in the skin I'm in, everywhere I go, everywhere I've been up and down, lost and found myself, happy in the skin that I'm in. Swam with the dolphins in the sea, I've never felt so wild and free. I even flew to the city of sin, spent my last dollar trying to win. All the things that I've seen and the journey we've been, there's no place like being happy in the skin I'm in. Everywhere I go, everywhere I've been up and down, lost and found myself, happy in the skin that I'm in. Oh, 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 yeah. Oh, oh, ooh, oh, 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 yeah. Happy in the skin I'm in. Everywhere I go, everywhere I've been up and down, lost and found myself, happy in the skin that I'm in. Happy in the skin I'm in. Everywhere I go, everywhere I've been up and down, lost and found myself, happy in the skin that I'm in.
Okay, so my question for you today is, do you believe that there are magic words? Do you believe that if you find the right words, that you could turn iron into gold, that you could transform any situation or condition in your life? You know, from the earliest forms of mythology, there's been this underlying theme of magic words, like abracadabra or whatever the magic word, like that there were these witchy words that we could use that would transform situations. And so I want to really just ask the question, do you believe that words have the power to form and shape substance? Now, if you've been around Unity for a long time, there's a part of us that wants to say, well, yes. And then there's a part of us that says, but do I really believe that? Do I really believe that words have power? So I've been doing a series called Back to School. And what I like to do in the fall is go back to those fundamental teachings that make a difference in our life. Those underlying Unity foundational teachings that support us in really going and living a spiritual life. So I've been using Emily Cady's book, Lessons in Truth, and I'm on chapter 5. I'm going to do a 5-week series. I'm in chapter 5, so I'm kind of picking and moving around. But today I'm on the chapter on affirmation, the power of words. And what I want to say to you today is that Unity has always believed in affirmative prayer. Now, what is that? Affirmative prayer is the belief that we don't need to beg or beseech God in our prayer, but we affirm the spiritual truth, that we use our words to decree the highest level of good that we believe in and to watch that manifest in our life. So today I kind of want to dive into that. I want to take that apart because I really want you to understand the differences between and how we use our words in the most powerful way. Because I think most people who come into Unity can think of a time when they may have affirmed something, they may have been using their affirmative prayer for something in their life, and it not really got them the results that they wanted. They didn't really see the outward demonstration. And it's a little frustrating when you hear, well, words have power, so I've been affirming this and I've been affirming that. I am rich. I'm a lottery winner. You know, I'm a swimsuit model or whatever we're affirming. And then we just get a little disappointed, right, when it doesn't always work the way we think it. So today I want to kind of break it down. So again, Emily Cady's Lessons in Truth, and here we are in paragraph number 3. The hunger that we feel is but the prompting of the divine within us, which longs with an infinite longing to fill us. It is but one side of the law of demand and supply. The other side, which is the unchangeable, unfailing, the promise, all things whatsoever ye pray, ask, believing that you will receive them, and it shall be done. The supply is always equal to the demand, but there must first be a demand before there is the use of the supply. Okay, so I really want you to hear that, right? Because what Emily Cady is saying, that we live in an infinite universe, right? And the demand actually has to be forthcoming before we access the supply. This is the idea of knock and the door will be open, seek and you shall find, ask and you shall receive. And it's this idea that it's okay to make a request to the universe. It's okay to have a want. It's okay to have a need that you want to have supplied. And I really want you to hold the space for that. Because my experience is that for most of us, now some people are just great at sharing their wants, their needs, their desires, and they're sharing them with everybody. But for most of us are a little timid about sharing our wants and needs. And we're afraid that we're going to be thought of as greedy or that we're asking too much. And what I want you to see is that if we lived in a finite universe, if we lived in a finite spiritual universe, you could literally ask for too much. You could ask for more than your share. But if we truly live in an infinite universe, if there's always more than enough, if there's always more than enough for all of us, then you can't ask for too much. That your life can't be too good. You can't be too blessed. And that's the mindset that I really want you to move into. I want you to move into a mindset that you're really open and receptive, that you're willing to claim all the good that God has for you. And I want you to see it is that every time you become more blessed, you become a greater light for the whole world. Every time you open to a greater level of peace and love and joy, not only do you do it for yourself, but then you model the infinite goodness of God. So Katie in this paragraph really challenges us to be willing to claim more good than most of us have ever known. Then paragraph 4, she says this. There is attainable by us a place where all we can see in our doing can cease, because we realize that spiritual is the fulfillment of our desires. That spirit is the fulfillment of our desires. We simply get still and know that all things, whatsoever we desire, are already ours. This knowing it, recognizing it, has the power to bring it from the invisible God or good into the innermost feeling, to bring forth into the visible form of good that we want, right? So here's her point, right? That when we have a big desire and we are moving around in our life trying to attain this great desire, one of the things that can happen is that our efforting can actually be a statement that we don't really believe it's going to happen. Right? That sometimes with all of our effort, with all of our worry, with all of our project planning, with all the things that we're doing, it really hides a level of fear that we're not going to be sufficiently blessed. And what I want you to see today is that as we're beginning to use our words to affirm the greatest level of good that we can imagine, there needs to be a level of deep calm and reassurance within us that everything that we are claiming, everything that we are desiring, actually is God's will for us, and it will be provided in the right and perfect way. Now, it may not happen, and I will probably say, and I guarantee it won't happen the way you think it's going to happen. Like every one of us has a mindset how our good's going to come to us. You know, it's going to be this way or that way, or they're going to come knocking on our door, and Ed McMahon's going to hand us the big check, and this is how it's all going to work. And it never works that way, because the infinite is not limited by your plan. Your plan, no matter how fabulous it is always a finite understanding of the infinite. And the infinite is always greater. But it's that deep assurance. It's that deep knowing within us that it is already done. So when you think about a desire that you have for your life, do you have an underlying belief that it's already done? Like, is there a deep level of confidence that whatever you're desiring today, it is already done? Like, can you imagine the level of peace, the level of joy, the level of confidence, the level of gratitude that you would have if you knew that all of your desires, no matter how big, how great, how fabulous, were already done? See, we would live differently. Like, we would not be so anxious. We would not be so worried. We would not be so driven. We would not be so upset if we really move from moment to moment to moment, knowing that whatever our desire is, no matter what we're creating, no matter what we're manifesting, if we knew spiritually it would already be done, we'd be able to take our anxiety level from whatever it is in your life, 3, 4, 5, 10, we'd be able to take that down to 1 or a 2. If you knew that all the good that you desired was God's good for you, you would be at a level of peace from moment to moment to moment. I want to read paragraph 13, 18, 22, and 23. Katie says this. First, God is life, love, intelligence, omniscience, and all potential, all present, that God is all. Second, I am a child or a manifestation of God, and every moment His life, His love, His wisdom, His power flows through me and I am one with God, and I am one with the governing power of his law. Third, I am spirit, perfect, whole, harmonious. Nothing can hurt me. Nothing can make me sick or afraid, for God is spirit, and God cannot be sick or hurt or afraid, and I am a manifestation of my real self through his body now. And fourth, God works in me to do his will. Whatever his will wishes me to be, I cannot fail, because he cannot fail. See, what Emily Cady is trying to do is create a mindset that God is all. I'm created in that all. So what I decree, what I speak, what I affirm is actually God's will for me, manifesting at the deepest level, and it will be done. So I want you to feel that what you're speaking into existence, what you're using your words to lay form and shape to, is actually the infinite goodness of God. And as we decree it, it is done unto us. So God is all. I am an expression of that. And I affirm the truth of that. And as I express it, I'm actually expressing the goodness of God. So in a very real way, our words give form and shape to our faith. But we actually need our faith for those words to have power. And that's where sometimes we get at odds with ourselves. See, if I don't have the faith to create the next level of my life, I can affirm anything I want, but it doesn't have the power to form and shape, create the life that I desire. That faith is the power that actually moves your words into a creative force. That you actually have to look, do I have the faith? Do I believe that that's possible? Because if I'm using my words for things I don't believe in, there's always going to be a disconnect. That we actually have to decide today if you have the faith to move your life forward at the level you want to, because your words can actually help build that faith, but it's the faith that allows your words to form and shape reality. Faith is the power that gives your words life, and we cannot do it without that faith. In fact, there's so many illustrations of that in Scripture. In Hebrews 11, it says, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not yet seen. Well, a man brought his son to Jesus and said, if you can heal him, please heal him. And Jesus said, if I can. And of course, and then Jesus makes a big deal about that we have to believe. And the man then turns to Jesus and says, heal thou thy unbelief. And that's for many of us, where to move our life forward, we need to be willing to heal our unbelief. We need to be willing to heal the places in us where we've gotten stuck in limited ideas. And for many of us, that's the place where we truly need to start. It's like if you desire a greater life, but you don't really believe it's possible, it creates this disconnect in us, that it doesn't allow us to really live the life that we want. And that's the place where I'd like you to start today. First, I want you to identify the life that you want. I want you to get an image of the life that you want. And then to ask yourself an honest question. Do I believe it's possible for that life to be my life? Do I believe it's possible for me to step in to that life? And if you don't fully believe it, the first step is to affirm that your faith is being transformed. God, help me. God, give me the faith to believe in the life that I desire most. Because as that heals, as your faith becomes stronger, as your belief becomes greater, as you begin to speak your words into reality, they now have empowered to go forth and do amazing things. But it's your faith that sends your words out into the universe to create the next level of good. Reading from also Emily Cady, she said this: we will speak the words, we will confidently affirm, but we have nothing to do with the establishment of the word or bringing it to pass. And she quotes from Job 22:28. Thou shalt decree a thing, and it will be established unto these. So you shall decree or affirm unwaveringly, steadfast, and hold God by his utter laws, his promises to establish and to fulfill it. So your job is to have the faith. Your job is to believe. Your job is to speak the word and to decree a thing, knowing that it's the Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom, and then know that it will be done. It is God's job to manifest that next level of good and reveal it to you in the right and perfect way. Your job is to stand in faith and speak the word. So one of the things that I've been teaching on Thursday nights, I've been teaching this Wildly Blessed class. And one of the affirmations that I invited people to share is God is blessing me now. And to really build the faith, the assurance, to know that over and over again, God is blessing me now. And what I've asked the people that have been taking this class to do is every time they affirm, God is blessing me now, I want them to actually think of a blessing, to link that affirmation with a tangible blessing that they can acknowledge in their life. Because what happens is, if you speak the word, but you don't really have something to connect it with, it just gets a little funny. But when you say, God is blessing me now, and you think about your health or your family or your job or that you have a roof over your head, or you have enough to eat, or you have a beautiful environment to live in. So every time you say, God is blessing me now, that affirmation, when you link it to a tangible thing, it actually builds your level of faith. And that's what I want. So you ready for this week's homework? This week's homework is really a two-parter. I want you to be clear about what you want. And I want you to begin to use your words in faith to create that. God in me is blessing me now. I am one with all the good that I desire. God is healing my body, or I am whole and well. I want you to begin to link your words and your faith to the next level of your life, and see that in your life today there are so many possibilities that are waiting for you to call them forth. There's greater love, there's greater peace, there's greater abundance, and it's all waiting for you to call it forth. But you have to have the faith, and then to use the power of your words to form that into tangible blessings that you can experience right now. See, this is our spiritual work. This is our spiritual foundation. In Unity, from the beginning, we've taught affirmative prayer, that we have to link the power of our faith with the power of our words to create the next level of your life. Let's take that into prayer. I want you to open your mind, your heart, your soul to a greater vision of your life. I want you to see yourself blessed, wildly blessed. I want you to see your life filled with good. And I want you to call up your highest level of faith. What's the greatest good that you can believe in? What's the greatest good that you have faith in today? And I want you to create one statement, one affirmation, if you will. And I want you to begin to decree that by linking your faith to that statement. What we've been using in the Wildly Blessed class is God is blessing me now. Let's say that together. God is blessing me now. And then what happens is you begin to see the blessings of God in greater and greater ways, and you feel more and more blessed just by holding on to that belief and linking it with experience after experience where God is blessing me now. That your words actually have the power to give a manifestation of your faith. God is blessing me now. God is blessing me now. In the name and through the power of the living Christ, it is so. This is a time of giving of our gifts and tithes. I invite you to hold them in your hand as we bless them together. And our offering blessing is divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I give and all that I receive. Together, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I give and all that I receive. And so it is. God bless you, friend. Thank you for being a part of Unity of Prescott. Thank you for being a part of this dynamic ministry that is making a difference in so many lives. I look forward to being with you next week.